How's it going, everyone? I'm back. This is the second mobility episode. Let's get this adjusted. I'm so tall. Let's see. If I'm back here, you can see me. But if I'm up close, you can't. Let's lower this. Alright, maybe we can start with something like that. Honestly, if you're here to watch me do a little bit of mobility work and participate, it's going to be easier if you're on a horizontal platform rather than vertical. Because as soon as I get down, if I do it like this, maybe you can see some, but if I try to go at an angle, it's going to cut me off. So the best thing you could do, if you really want to kind of follow along what I'm doing, is, well, first of all, pull up the actual video, which is at njb.fyi/mobility. That'll take you right to the video, so you can just kind of follow on your own. But if you want to watch me and kind of go from there, which I don't know about that, I'm not that good at these things yet, you're going to need to see this on horizontal. Just the way it is. It's just this, it's kind of like I'm a tall person. And yeah, just the vertical is not really the most appropriate. Now, as for the format, I was thinking about, should I do a different video every single time, or should I do a new video, the same video, so I can kind of improve on what I practiced before? And I can see the pluses and minuses to both. I think some people like to do something new every time and shake it up. So I decided I'm going to do one video per week. So there's 2 mobility sessions. I'm going to do the same one for that week, and then I'll mix it up next week. And so that gives us kind of the best of both worlds. It gets me to practice on what I started with earlier in the week, and so I can kind of see my own progress with it. And then it also kind of keeps it fresh, so next week you can just check out something new. And we'll start with that and see how it works. But wow, every time. These guys have like bots, little AIs or whatever, and they're just tracking everyone who makes a video. I get it. We all want to make money, bro. I get it. So you make this little script that tracks people who make videos and have a lot of viewers, send them this message. Hopefully they'll pay you money. You can feed your family. I get it, brother. I get it. But that's not, I don't really care about how many views this gets, A lot of people stressing, I need to do this, do that. I'm pretty happy as is. I don't need much, I'm at peace with however this turns out. I'm just doing this because I think it's fun. I might connect with some people, might be able to give some people, some inspiration to work out, to be healthy, and I'm gonna take it day by day. So I'm gonna pull up the video myself and get working on it. I actually don't know how much I actually retained from the last one. We shall see. Oh yeah, that was the other annoying things. I kind of need some new headphones because these ones do not stay in my ears when I'm moving around. So I need to figure that out. Probably some wired headphones or something. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I can play it for legal reasons. I don't want to get sued by this guy. He seems like a really nice dude, for like having the audio on my live stream. So I have to listen to it on my own. But like I said, you can pull up the video yourself. Drive people to his video, so that should be win-win for both of us.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Oh shit, need to put on Bluetooth. Need to make sure my phone is not connecting to these things. Is that working? Yes. All right, we're going to start with the warm-up again. Always so important. Never skip the warm-up. Wrist rolls. Oh, wow. Backward is hard. Why does that confuse my brain? All right, we're on the wrist wave. Lift. His looks different than mine. I don't know if I'm doing this right, so maybe don't copy me. But I'm at peace with it. This is a good one. It feels oddly satisfying. I don't even have to be moving, these things just fall out. All right, loaded beast. All right, loaded beast, chest proud. Oh, it's interesting. Every time it hits the ground, well, about 50% of the time, it pauses the video. Okay, I have to like tap it. Go, okay. Chest proud and back. Loaded beast. Left legs, front step. Return to loaded beast. Oh. Killing me. Oh. Wow. Oh. All right, back towards the kick from loaded beast. Through. Oh, can't do this direction, not enough space. Loaded beast, step through. Wow, be surprised how much of a workout that is. Left leg front step, through, back loaded beast. Right leg front step, through, back loaded beast. I'm gonna see. No, I don't. Next up, the jumping under switch. Crab. Hands are pointing behind us. Pushing on the gas is next. Wow, these gloves are shedding everywhere. Plastic. That's so bad. Look at these gloves. Deteriorating. All this microplastic. I don't think I can use these gloves until I get this plastic off. Sorry, just scooping some stinky cat poop here. All right, found where it was. Let's do this. Right leg jumping under switch. Left leg jumping under switch. Right leg jumping under switch. Left leg jumping under switch. Right leg jumping under switch. I get confused about over the top or below. It's always towards the leg that you're lifting up. So right leg jumping under switch is like this. Left leg jumping under switch is like this. Set beast. Left leg side kick through. Lift left leg, right hand. Eyes up. Push on the gas. It's like a dance move. Open sling. Left leg side kick through this. Left leg, right hand. Push on the gas. God, he's so fast. All right, from the top. Hey, baby. Set, loaded beast. Let's do the whole thing. Let's start over. That's the part I'm getting confused. Okay, right leg jumping under switch 2. I'm going to position myself in a new way. You hungry, boo? Of course. I think you still have some breakfast. Here. Oh, you're so furry. Oh, you got a poopy butt. All right, let's see if I can do the full thing. No help. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, baby. I know I'm a loaded beast, but I'm still a friendly beast. Too small space. Okay. I need a big area, but I'll do it here. Whoa. I think that was more or less most of it. I don't know. I feel pretty good. I'm sweating over here. I'm gonna call it a break. We got another session after this. Mindfulness meditation for 1 hour and 15 minutes on either side of a little discussion. I'm gonna clean up a bit, take a quick shower, and I'll be right back. So don't go anywhere, just take a break and join me soon for some meditation. All right. All right, all right. Just about ready to get started. Let's put on this camera. Move it a bit closer. Maybe it can be like here. Pick up the cute kitty cat. Put her in my lap. All right, welcome back. So we are in the first 15 minutes of another mindfulness discussion session. If you have anything you want to ask about mindfulness or share your experiences, please go ahead and type away, ask away, and I'll continue with what I was doing the past few days, which has been kind of talking about a quote that resonates with me in the topic of mindfulness and why it resonates with me. And then we'll do an hour of meditation, self-guided, and a little bit more discussion after that. Once again, I really wish I could do guided meditations for people, that I could just use that hour and guide people through a meditation myself. But again, I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. I have a general sense of how they work, but it'd be kind of like me, like someone who knows nothing about working out, going to a gym and offering to train people with some loose idea that it's just about lifting weights. I want to have a bit more experience under my belt, and I want to take some time to do some research. So I'm going to start with this next 100 hours. It's not actually my first 100 hours. It's just my next 100-hour goal. Because I've been meditating for the past 2 or 3 years, off and on. And so I probably have over 100 hours under my belt anyways, but I really want to get a bit more experience with meditation before I start teaching it. So we'll do this 100-hour challenge, and we'll go from there. Maybe I can start doing some guided meditations for folks. But until then, I invite you to get an app. The Waking Up app is a great one. And join me in meditation here. Just use this time. You see me meditating at this time, let that be your trigger, where you're like, oh, Nathan's meditating, I should meditate. And before you realize it, you'll have 100 hours of meditation under your belt. And that's huge. You'll start noticing tangible benefits in your life. So I really encourage you to check it out. Check out the app. Check out my post. And again, it all starts, I think, if you just go to my schedule page and go to the meditation section. I explain a lot about the benefits, the app you can use, and I offer tips for beginners if you're just starting out. And tips that I thought would be really helpful for myself when I first started out. So with all that, let me read that quote for today. Oh, hey, the cool dude. Thanks for following, man. How's it going? Nice. I just wrapped up an exercise session. Now we're moving into some mindfulness practice. What brings you here? Please tell me you'll do some mindfulness practice with me. Yeah, I noticed there wasn't a lot of people doing fitness and health. So I think this is actually kind of a small niche. I was looking up, as a streamer, like big things to avoid. Don't try to stream in a category with like 10,000 streamers already. So I guess I'm kind of lucky in that there aren't a lot of people doing fitness and health here. But I don't know if a lot of people think of fitness and health as purely physical fitness and getting strong, and that's important too. And I do a bunch of live streams where I do workouts and I do mobility routines to get people flexible, stay young and healthy. But I also do mental health, because everything in your life goes through your mind, right? Whenever you're sad, that's your mind. Whenever you're happy, that's your mind. Whenever you're unsatisfied. Yeah, mindfulness, astral projection, I've heard of that. Not so sure about that one, but I'm willing to look into it. I have an open mind. There's all sorts of things that, especially science, doesn't really know the answer to. And mindfulness is one of those things where, there wasn't a lot of research on mindfulness, so people just dismissed it. But of course, mindfulness this whole time has been an incredibly valuable practice. So maybe astral projection is among those too. I'm open-minded. But have you been practicing much? Adjust this slightly so I'm in the center. Nice. Yeah, it's hard to make it a habit. I meditated in the past, but then I found myself kind of not doing it so often, and then I jump back into it. But have you done it enough so that you've realized tangible benefits from it? And I think that's the key, because once you've gotten to that point, then you're like, whoa, this is something I actually should be doing, like exercising and eating healthy and all those things. That's a good way to be. Not taking life too seriously. Not getting, super stressed out about this and that. I feel you. I think if more people were like you, the world would be a more peaceful and relaxed and chill place. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I know so many people who say the same exact thing. And every single time I say, bro, mindfulness meditation is the key to unlocking a sort of implacable inner peace, because it teaches you to be aware of these thoughts and then gives you, in that spaciousness, the power to just watch them evaporate and then carry on with your day. Versus, a lot of people, when they have these thoughts, they kind of spiral and they think about this thought and then this thought and this thought and this thought and this thought, and it kind of spirals down and gets worse until they are like completely lost in some terrible anxiety. Mindfulness is really what unlocks human free will. It gives you control over what Daniel Kahneman said in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow. It gives you control over system 1 versus system 2. If I'm getting that one correctly, system 1 is the deliberate one, and 2 is the primal, primitive one. It could be the other way around. But the point is, we have kind of multiple aspects of the brain, and one of them is more deliberate thought and logical thinking, and one is more kind of instinctual, habitual, and mindfulness meditation on a scientific level, really what it does is it hones your ability to use your deliberate thought, your deliberate brain, versus your sort of instinctual, more primitive, habitual brain. And that's so powerful. It can help you with overwhelming thoughts. It can help give you a tremendous sense of peace just from merely existing. And that's powerful, especially in today's day and age where stuff's coming at us from all directions. Millennials using too much technology. You think millennials are bad? Look at those Gen Z kids. Oh man, they were born with a tablet in their hand practically. I'm a millennial, kind of like somewhere in the middle, but I think I dodged a bullet with the whole phone scrolling thing. You know, like a lot of kids today, they're like just addicted to their phones and they're walking around outside glued to their phones. They're at dinner with their friends and they're on their phones. Like, that's wow. They don't often recognize the kind of addiction that they have to that and how it's pulling away from the rest of their lives. And luckily, I dodged a bullet there because the first phones I had were just Nokia bricks. You know, you couldn't really do much on them. And so by the time that was a huge big thing, I was already out in the world. I was working. I was doing other things. But I feel you. I think a lot of us could do well just by kind of going back to nature a little bit. I actually spent the last 2 years in Hawaii in an intentional community, and we just grew our own food. We, had this really nice garden area. We grew a lot of our own food. We had to buy some, of course. You don't grow everything. We didn't go to the ocean and harvest our own salt, but we grew a lot of our own food. We built buildings ourselves, did a lot of construction. It was just like really getting down into the weeds of life, and that was actually really enjoyable. Yeah, and it doesn't even take that much work relative to how much you can get, right? Okay, of course there's a lot of work, manual labor in terms of like tending your crops and such, but you can grow a lot of food with, relatively little effort if you know the right kinds of foods and to plant and like where to put them in relation to others, different crop placements, and you get a lot of trees growing, get a lot of perennials growing that just come year after year, so you don't have to do annual replanting. And of course, the food is delicious, right? You ever had your own grown like tomatoes versus store-bought tomatoes? Your own, everything that you nurture yourself, and you're not putting pesticides on that stuff. So healthy for you. So yeah, I'm totally down with that. Fresh grown apples, absolutely. If you go apple picking, which I do, I grew up in New England, right? So we went apple picking every year. Wow, those apples are so much better than like the generic apples you can tend to get at a store. The flavor's so much richer. It's and there's of course so much more variety, right? You're used to just like maybe Red Delicious and like Granny Smith and like Fuji or something at the store. There's probably like 300 species of apples at like most fairly large orchards. So yeah, it's great, man. Pink Lady, yeah, all sorts. It's great. I envision a time where I can get enough people together, kind of pool our resources together, pool our money together, and buy a little plot of land, like 10, 15, 20 acres, whatever we can afford, and do all these things. Put an apple orchard there, grow our own food, put some buildings around, some facilities, and just enjoy life and live according to our values. Oh yeah, I just worked out too, so I'm still kind of sweating, but that's a big one too. And I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I think I have a little bit of a cold or something, but it's like the most minor cold I've ever had, which is great because normally it's pretty bad. There's like several phases of like snotting and terrible sore throat. This one's pretty mild, but yeah, I've been trying to just push myself to hydrate even more to kind of help my body out. But yeah, man, thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. I think you're my first the first person to comment on Kick. Yay, the Cool of Dude. Remember that name. Not COVID-19 though, but oh no, that was, yeah, not that bad. Although, I mean, fortunately, I was lucky with COVID. I don't think I had a case of COVID. I've gotten it, I think, twice, maybe even 3 times. And pretty much every case was fairly mild. So I think I lucked out. I heard a lot of really bad horror stories where some people had really terrible cases, and on top of that, they like have lasting after effects, like long COVID effects. It's terrible, man. And I guess it's with us forever, right? Like it's still out there. You can still get it. And it's like the flu now. You got to take a yearly like flu shot or something to help you, survive the next wave every season. Yeah, you got to use the right soap, baby soft soap, whatever it is. My skin cracks already because I'm getting calluses from lifting weights, but yeah. But yeah, man, so I'm about to start a meditation session for 1 hour. You're welcome to join. You're welcome to leave, whatever you want, man. But this is a period where I'm going to be doing my own self-guided meditation. I invite other people to do the same, just to raise awareness about the importance of meditation and the value it can bring to people's lives. So I'll be meditating for an hour, and then at the last 15, after that, there'll be 15 more minutes where I just talk about people's experiences of people around, and other things related to meditation. So stick around if you want, try it for a little bit. That would be really cool. If you could show me how to do that, that would be awesome. I would be deeply grateful. That sounds like a really powerful skill. But yeah, for now I'm going to do a little meditation session. Let me pull up. Oh, absolutely. I'm open to everything, bro. See, that's kind of like one, I think, thing that's kind of problematic in today's world is that people tend to think what they know to be the one and only truth. Like what I know is true is what is true. And I feel like as I've gotten older, I've become more and more relaxed, more and more open-minded, and realize more and more that there's actually more that's true that I don't know than I do know. How I thought the world operated, how I thought the universe worked, going through science and math and STEM through college, they give you this like world view that this is how the world works. But I found that actually there's more to it than that. And that's just one perspective. So absolutely, spiritual things, telepathy, you just got to show me that it works. I can't believe everything that every random person tells me, but I'm open to being shown. If someone can show me that it works, that's great. When you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. I feel like I've heard that quote before. When you eliminate the impossible, Sherlock Holmes, sounds like it. However improbable, must be the truth. That's kind of an interesting one to wrap one's head around. Well, I kind of, right now, the thing that's coming to my mind is eliminate the impossible. How do you eliminate the impossible? That's a deep philosophical question. Can you definitively say whether something is not true? And I think that's really difficult. That's my impression. That's so difficult that it's essentially impossible. So I don't know what he means by eliminate the impossible. Because like, for example, even an atheist, right? An atheist who doesn't believe in God, like from a truly like philosophical and scientific perspective, you can't absolutely be certain that God doesn't exist. Because proving that God doesn't exist means you'd have to go to every corner of the universe and is God there? Is God there? Like we can only see on Earth. We can't see in like astral dimensions. There's so much out there. You can't definitively prove that. So you have to be open to the possibility that God exists, right? So that applies to many things, right? You can't, it seems difficult to disprove stuff for certain, in most cases. But yeah, God-fearing man or God-loving man, how it depends on how you look at it. I respect that. I grew up in a very Christian household. I mean, very in that we went to church like every single week and often more times, and did missions to, you know, other places to help people and build up church things there. Hymns are nice. I think there's a lot of amazing stuff about religion. I think the value of religion is not trying to be a stickler for what is true and what is false. I think it's kind of finding and discovering the core meaning of passages and how they are still relevant to us today, rather than being so nitpicky about this is an actual truth. Did this guy actually live inside of a whale? I mean, probably not really, but there's a deeper meaning there that I think they're trying to convey in these various stories. And of course, the hymns, the songs, you know, there's a whole community of going to church. All that stuff is totally real, totally legit. So I'm on board with you, brother. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to start this meditation session. And you're welcome to join, man, or not. Leave. I'm happy. Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. And if you're still around in about an hour, I'll be here too, and we'll be talking about meditation for a little bit. This channel just started. There's only a few people, but I really appreciate you coming by and following. It means a lot. And yeah, check out my schedule as well. It's njb.fyi/schedule. The link is at the bottom. And you can see my schedule of things I do. I do different activities. If you want to stay fit and healthy, like you were saying before, I do exercise programs. I do mobility programs, you know, keep our backs in good shape, keep us flexible, keep us young. I do mindfulness programs. That's what this one is now. And I do perspective. I talk about different topics and kind of allow people to share their insights and perspectives on how to be happy and how to live a healthy life. And a couple other things. So thanks, Minnie. Thanks for the follow. How's it going? And so, yeah, the last thing in that list of things that I do is I do connective exercise activities, authentic relating. I'm doing great. I just did a little bit of workout. I'm feeling pumped. I'm ready to get into my mindfulness session, do some practice, because taking care of your mind, meditation is like exercising the mind, right? Like everybody believes that exercising your body is healthy, right? Like eating healthy, taking care of your body is good. Well, mindfulness is taking care of your mind. And your mind is everything, right? It's all your hopes and fears and dreams and stress and all that stuff is going in your mind. Why not make it stronger? And that's what meditation does. So welcome to the channel. Appreciate your follow. And yeah, I'm gonna get started in a few minutes here, but if you have any questions, you wanna chit chat a little bit, look at my cute cat. Oh my God, she is so cute. Hey, baby. Cutie pie. She's just having a great time here. Loves these little yoga mats we've set up. Baby. You're a little dirty. I'll give you a little brushing later. You got some mats. I'm just gonna grab some socks. I'm a little cold. I do both, Minnie. I do both. Totally. Got my new socks on. You know, I like to do both because both aerobic exercise and strength training have unique benefits to human health. I'm actually going to talk about this in depth this Monday. If you take a look at my schedule, I have a whole period set aside where I'm going to talk about all this research done on human health with regard to physical health and exercise. Because that's kind of my thing, right? My background is science. I was a scientist at NASA for about a decade. Before that, I worked at the Department of Transportation, and I did a lot of research. I did a lot of engineering. And so I'm still like that today. I like to look at a subject and really dive deep and find all the facts, look up the science. And so I'm going to do exploration and discussion about that topic on Monday, where I talk about the benefits of cardio exercise, you know, low intensity, steady state cardio versus high intensity cardio. How much do you need of each? Should you do strength training? Should you do high reps, low reps? Should you do heavy weight? You know, all these different variables I'm going to be talking about in detail. Lucky socks. You know, I need a pair of lucky socks. I don't think I have any. I just did my own workout. I'm still sweating from that. I took a shower, but you know how like you work out and you take a shower, you're still sweating after? I mean, it takes a little while, so excuse the wet shirt going on here. But yeah. Got the power, take a shower. That's a good one. All right, so I'm gonna get started here. Great meeting you guys. Thanks again for the follow. I'm gonna start this mindfulness session. I'm gonna go for an hour. You're welcome to join. Again, check out my schedule page, njb.fyi/schedule. Very simple, njb, Nathan J. Buckley, .fyi/schedule, and I write out about all the benefits of meditation and how you can get started, a little app you can do. And trust me, you do this for like a month, you really put some good effort towards it, doing it every day for just 5-10 minutes, and you will notice benefits to your inner peace, to your well-being, to your happiness. So I invite you to get started. I'm gonna go ahead and get started here and close my eyes and start meditating for a bit, and then after an hour I'll come back and open it up for discussion. All right, see you in a bit. Hey baby, do you want to meditate with me? Hello, hello. That was just about an hour. If you stayed with us the whole time, or even part of the time, congratulations. Oh, are you hungry? Sometimes I get a little hungry cat who wants my attention towards the end of these episodes. Your food is very soon. Yeah, for those of you who meditated with me, how was your experience? I find it a nice experience when my cats jump up on my lap. It's a different way to meditate. You know, normally my eyes are closed. I'm kind of doing it the old school way. But you can meditate with your cat in your lap as long as you stay present. Now I'm covered in cat fur. That's life. That's your sister's bowl. Well, there's only a few pieces left. One of the meditations that I was listening to had me do some, metta practice, loving kindness. And that's a good one. I feel like I actually almost want to implement a little of that almost every single day. Really, there's no kind of, mystery around mindfulness in the sense that from certain perspectives, one might look at it and be like, okay, how is this like scientific? Like, I don't get it. This is just like mumbo jumbo spirituality crap. Actually, no, it's very grounded in reality, in very tangible things that science can investigate. From a neurological perspective, what you're doing through meditation is rewiring your brain. And this is kind of like a superpower that humans have that we don't realize that we have, is that our brains are very malleable if you know how to change them. You can change them in very powerful ways. And one just simple, well-known, well-established in biology and neuroscience way to change your brain is just to do things, right? When you do something enough, with enough repetition, you will strengthen the pathways in your brain regarding that thing. So any skill, for example, is related to this. Of course, there's a skill area of the brain, but in general, memorizing something or doing some, you're learning Pilates or something, and you have to remember the exercise order and all the different variations. The more you do it, the more you cement that in your brain. You're strengthening the connections in your brain. You play a video game, right? And the first time you start this brand new game, you're kind of like, a little clumsy with the controls. Your character doesn't quite, move the way you want it to. But over time, you get better and you strengthen the connections in your brain with regard to like moving the controls in a way that gets the character to do what you want it to do, or gets the game to act in ways that you want it to act. It's all the same principle. With meditation, you're doing specific exercises to strengthen the connections you want to strengthen and, loosen the connections you don't want, or that you do want to loosen. So there are various different techniques within this field of meditation, within the concept of mindfulness meditation. The one that most people are familiar with is mindfulness of the breath. And that's where you basically set an anchor, the breath, but technically it can be any anchor. It could be a heartbeat, but the breath is a good one for a number of reasons, which I've alluded to before. Namely because it's so intimately connected with everything else that's going on in your body. Usually when there's a change in emotion, or you'll notice actually your breath changes. A little gasp or whatever. So if you're really attuned with your breath, it can be like a good way to be in tune with the rest of your body as well. But the point is, any anchor can be used, and you can focus on that anchor and have that anchor you to the present. And when you drift off and you notice that drifting off, that's when you gently pull your brain back. And that's what you're training. You're not really training any connections in your brain per se about your breath, like how it feels or whatever. I mean, maybe a little bit, you're becoming a bit more sensitive to it, but the key thing you're training with that exercise, in my understanding, is that you're training the recognition when your mind has wandered. That's the key. So and a lot of people beat themselves up in the beginning. I did. When they meditate, they're like, oh, my mind's wandering everywhere, I can't do this. That's exactly the point. Those are the points. When you recognize that your mind has wandered, that recognition is the victory. That is the thing you want to train over and over and over again, so that with enough practice, you become very quick to recognize when your mind has wandered. And therefore your mind doesn't wander nearly as much. Not as much like as before, when your mind can wander and you're off in your head and you go down into a rabbit hole, and then 10 minutes later you're like, oh wait, I didn't mean to do that. I just totally got distracted. Right? You're working on your paper, you're on your computer, you go down some Wikipedia rabbit hole, 15 minutes later you're like, oh, I didn't really need to go that deep. Let me go back to my paper. Right? So when these things happen, it's the catching of that. It's the catching of your mind wandering and repeating that over and over that gets you better at catching it. So then you don't go down that rabbit hole. Or at least you have the choice to go down it or not, right? Before, you didn't ever really have a choice. Your mind just went down the rabbit hole. But when you recognize your mind going down the rabbit hole, you can, in that moment, in that space, decide, oh, do I want to pursue this, or do I want to get back to what I was doing? And sometimes you may choose to do that. Oh, this is really interesting rabbit hole. Like, I'm actually going to go down this. But then it's your choice, rather than before you didn't have a choice. So there are various exercises in meditation, like mindfulness of the breath, like metta, which are strengthening connections in the brain. And this is all very science-based, all based in reality. There's no hocus-pocus stuff going on here. Yeah, so again, powerful stuff. I really invite everybody who hasn't tried meditation to give it my cat threw up. We're almost done here. I'll clean that up in a bit. So yeah, again, I invite anybody who hasn't tried meditation, give it an honest shot for a month. There's nothing to lose, honestly. And there's so much to gain. You will be exposed to a whole new world, a whole new path to inner peace, happiness, that doesn't depend on external events. You can just find peace and happiness within yourself. And that's a powerful thing. So again, there's so much to it. I'm going to be meditating every day and talking about different aspects of meditation, and I invite you all to join me. And maybe eventually we'll get some people who are super pro at meditation, some Buddhist monks that come on, and they can share their experiences and elevate us all. Who knows? I'm reading some books. I have some books queued in my reading list as well. One in particular that I can't wait to get through. It's called The Elephant and the Blind, and it's a collection of all these accounts of different meditation practitioners and gurus, and I'm really interested to see what insights I can glean from that, and any cool ones, I'll share them with you. So again, this is just our meditation time, a time to meditate and practice, and time to just talk about all the insights we learned and how they can benefit our lives. So with that, unless anyone else has anything to add or bring up or have any questions, I'm going to go clean up some cat puke, and we'll call it a day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, check out my schedule. It's njb.fyi/schedule. And it's all there. It's everything that I'm doing. And I'm on every day for a couple hours. And I hope you can come by again. All right. Looks like that's it. Thanks again. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.